Hi, and welcome to this video on the entry process for a competition site. So we can see that we're on the Marwera National Salon in New Zealand site and on the home page, and we can see that we have a button here that says click here to enter the salon. So this green button here it indicates that the collection is the active collection. And generally you only have one active collection on the site at any time. If we go into the settings area, you can see here that this is where it's checked. So when we click on that button, you'll see that it comes to a page, and it's called the pre-entry checks page, and it has a series of accordions that have information. So the first one is the contact details. So if the entrant hasn't got their contact details in there, it'll be marked red, and they'll have to go in and set them, and they've got the opportunity here to set their honours as well. So once they've done that, they can confirm and come back, and you can see that it's marked as details updated. Okay, the next section is the agreed terms and additional charges. So here you can see that in this competition, it's just got a single thing to say that they agree with the conditions of entry, and they have to click on yes to continue. So if I click on that, you'll see that it goes to green, and you can see that the check complete. That's right. That then allows them to go into uploading their images. And you can see right now there's no entries uploaded. But if I go to the entry form, it comes up with the sections. So if I just quickly enter an image and submit that, you can see that now that I've got an entry here. Now, you can see that there's a button here that says, when finished uploading your images, click here to pay your fees. So assuming that the fees are being collected by the site, you can see that now we come back to that same page and it says upload them, later review. So now we're at the review stage. And here there's a button that shows you the images that you've uploaded and a button to say that my images are correct and comply. So once I click on that button there, you can see now that it's completed and it has one entry uploaded. At this stage, now the entry fees section is available, and whatever the fee structure is shown here, and then there's a PayPal button. If the entrant returns back at any stage, changes their entry, and there's a new fee, they can pay a second time to pay the difference, or it'll show that there's nothing due. Okay, so that's the structure of how the entry form and the payment and checking for conditions works. Now, this is set in this underneath the settings area. So if I go to manage collections and settings, you can see under the settings pages and actions, there's an area that's called manage pre-entry checks. So if I click on there, you can see that this one has just this one simple condition of entry check. And the reason there's only a yes button is that it is a must answer yes to proceed. So if I just temporarily insert a new check, and if I don't check any of these options here and save that, if I go back to the entry form, you'll see now that I've got to do please complete again because I've added a section. And you can see now that it's got the heading, it's got the information there, and I can either answer yes or no. Okay, so I have to answer yes or no. So if I say no to that question, the question may be for prints, do you want your prints returned? Or I agree to another, any scenario where there's a yes or no question. So once we've done that, we're back in that same point where we can continue on and pay our fees. So if I just come back Yeah, you can see that also there's the option to put a print code on. This will add a code that appears on the print label, so that may be useful for different situations where uh, prints are being returned or something like that. So if this was, say, print return, and then you might put a code on saying so what it'll do then is it'll enter that. Now, again, like if we say it's print return, and there's a charge for it, I can put the charge in. So say it's $20 or whatever the currency is that it's being charged in, and that's the scenario there. So if I just save the page again, just flick back to the entry form and have another quick look. You see we had a change, so it prompts me now, and you can see that now it's going to give me a print return. This is the test, and if I say yes to that, and I just need to reload the page to pick that up, and if I go pay entry fees, you can see now that my entry fee has that additional charge there. Okay, so the final thing is that say this was attend a studio shoot, and the fee is say still $20, not relevant to be a print code anymore, but we have a maximum of 20 people, of 12 people. And if I save that now and I go back to that entry form again, reload the page, and you can see now it has the studio check. But what it'll do is when it gets to a number of 12 that have already answered that question, it will give the entrant a warning that it will still allow them to pay, but it effectively puts them on a wait list. But they know that they haven't got in quick enough. Okay, so if I just go back to here, and because this is actually a live competition, I'll just delete that one again and reload, and that's it. So that's the way that the pre-entry checks work. Okay, so now I'd like to show you a more unusual way that the pre-entry form is used. And in this case, you can see it's called the Set and Shield. It's a convention that's run on the north of the South Island of New Zealand. And they have multiple competitions that run under the same umbrella. They collect the fees themselves so that entry fees aren't checked. So therefore this message appears on the entry form. And if we go into here, we can see that there's quite a few entry checks. We've got a charge for a convention registration, a partner dinner, a number of field trips, and you can see that they've got limits on those. And then down at the bottom here, they've got an entry information area. Because this particular collection has no competitions associated with it. So if you make a collection and you don't have any competition sections, then you need to have a way to get into it. So I'll just quickly show you how that all works. And if we go into Manage Collections and Settings, and we go into the Manage Pre-Entry Collections for this one, you can see that it's quite involved, that it's got all these sections. And then at the bottom, it's actually got some code that gives us a button for each section. So you can see that it's actually going to the enter a collection area for each one. It's bypassing the entry check because you've already done that, and it's taking you straight into the entry form for that section. Okay, so that's a way that My Photo Club can be used for a more complicated one. Now another aspect is to see how the information can be retrieved. So if I go to Edinburgh print competition, and I go into the competition that's currently open now, you can see that they've got 578 entries. If I go into the downloads and reports, and I request the entrance CSV file, and while we're waiting for that, we'll go to this to the settings, and we'll just have a look at the pre-entry checks for this one. So you can see that it's got agree to fiat conditions. It's got a print code EU and a charge of £4 in this case for send a catalogue. So then we've got another one for send a catalogue, and then we've got another one for return postage. I said 4, didn't I? Oh, that was right, 4, and then 10 for outside UK and collection of prints. So we've got quite a number of things that they're also tagging whether they're a member, and they're using that as a print cable label, so that'll help them sort their prints at the end. So if we go back now to the downloads page, and we should have our entrance CSV file there by now. Yep. So if we click on that and we go into that file, space it out, you can see there's all the usual entrance information that you find in an entrance CSV file, but you can see that there's a column for each one of those pre-entry checks. So that allows you to just very quickly, using filtering or any other method you wish in your spreadsheet, to work out all the ones that have checked a particular option. So if I just click there, go into filter, and I want to see everyone that's done return UK postage, and just clear off the no, you can see there's my list of people for that scenario. So that's how you got the process of the entrant capturing, instructing you with information through the pre-entry checks, and then you being able to recall that information. Thank you.